Last week, I shared brand new Halloween Dollar Tree DIYs with you, and in this video, I'll show you how to display them in both a tablescape and on your mantle. Let's jump in. I mentioned it in the intro, but today's video is going to be a fun decorate with me. I've never done this type of video before, but I did get a couple of questions in my Halloween video from last year about how I came up with the ideas on how to display everything and style it. So that's what today's video is going to be. We're going to do a tablescape, a table setting, and a mantle, and we'll start off with the mantle. I began with a bare mantle. That's always the best thing to do. Take all of your normal decor off, give everything a nice wipe down so that you have a good clean slate to begin decorating with. I did leave my mirror on there, and I'll explain that why in a little bit, but I'm starting off with a plastic tablecloth from the Dollar Tree. This had some skull and crossbones on it and was a Halloween themed tablecloth. So I just bunched this together using some jute. I tied it in the middle and on the ends to kind of create something that looks more like some draping fabric than plastic tablecloth. I made this DIY using, again, Dollar Tree supplies, and I hung this down on the mantle right in front of the fireplace section. The reason why I left the mirror is because I wanted to cover it with some of this creepy cloth from the Dollar Tree. It comes in white and black and gray. I think there is something very spooky about covered mirrors. It just reminds me of an old kind of abandoned house where all the furniture is covered up in, fabric and tablecloths and all of those kind of settings. It gives a cool kind of gothic vibe, so I wanted to keep that and covered up the mirror. I kept my candlesticks that I usually have out, but I found these black and gold candles in the dollar spot section at Target. It reminded me so much of the black flame candle from Hocus Pocus, and I love the way that it looks when they are eventually lit up. I'm adding some more of that black creepy cloth all over the mirror and then taping up a couple sections with just some duct tape. Next, I took two books. Now, these ones are kind of spooky. It's Black Widows and Nature of Witches, but you can do any books in a similar color scheme, some black books, gray, even white would look cool, and stack them. That is going to give our mantle a little bit of depth. And then I also showed you, I just took a dollar greeting card from the Dollar Tree and thought that was going to be a really cute piece of decor too. These potion bottles I made, I think a year back. This is when Dollar Tree had these gorgeous large bottles for only $1. It was such a steal. And I am showing you how I create some height. So you don't want to just place all the bottles down and have them all the same height. You kind of want your eye to be going up, down, up, down, up, down. So I like to create my taller items on the edge of the mantle. I put this skeleton mirror that I've created on the far right side. As you saw, the potion bottles were on the left. Some potion bottles I made this year I'm also placing on the right side, and then on top of those books I am placing a faux dripping candle. I'm going to have the links to all of these down below if you actually want to create any of these crafts. Then I went in with one final creepy cloth and I draped that over the potion bottles on the left side. So looking at the mantle, you see the height on the left side, you see the height on the right side, and the height from the candles in the mirror in the middle. And then we're going to fill in all of that empty space with some smaller items. I took these little potion cauldrons and I took just a bowl that I had from my kitchen and flipped it upside down to create a little bit more height, and then covered that in creepy cloth. So you can really see that has a little bit of height. Then I have the black pumpkin with some smaller height. And then I'm adding in some of these little potion bottles from Dollar Tree as just some cute little filler. I cannot even begin to tell you how much I hate the faux cobwebs. I absolutely love the way they look, but they are a dang pain putting on. They cling to every little dry patch on your fingers, and it's so hard to get it exactly where you want, but it just looks so cool. So I had to place that over the books. I want them to look like old, dusty books. I added in another candle from the Dollar Tree, and that greeting card that I had, I originally had it hiding behind some of the creepy cloth, but I really liked it, so I pulled it out in front. The final little step is adding in some of these fairy lights. Everything just looks so much more magical when you have the little twinkling lights. So I placed these all throughout the mantle and then lit the candles. As you can see, especially when you're looking at this, your eye is drawn to the center and the sides. Then we have that hanging boo sign down on the bottom of the mantle. So I really like just creating a bunch of different depth kind of. You'll have some items in the back, some in the front. And again, just making your eye go up, down, up, down. You don't want all tall items. You don't want all short items. You want to keep the eye length kind of interesting. You know, you don't want it to just be a flat plane. I hope that you have enjoyed learning how I decorated my mantle, maybe picked up a few tricks and tips yourself. Now we are going to be venturing into a tablescape, kind of taking some of the similar ways and tricks that I told you earlier, but we'll be changing it up just a little bit. This is actually the first Halloween tablescape that I am creating. We lived in an apartment previously, so we didn't even have a dining room. So this is extra fun and special to me because this is the first one that I have made and I love how it looked. I think I have to throw a Halloween party now because I want everyone to see it. So similar to the mantle, we're starting off with a completely clean slate. I wiped down the table, which is kind of funny because it ended up just getting like glitter and cobwebs all over it anyway. But I started off with a clean surface, laid down this cobweb material from the Dollar Tree, and now I'm going in with my creepy cloth, basically creating my own Gothic style runner. There's my pup. You're going to be seeing him a lot. He was very curious in what was going on, and unlike the mantle, he could actually reach the table. So he was checking everything out and I think trying to steal a couple items. He may have succeeded. You'll see that later on in the video. But again, I am just creating a runner, so I laid down that sparkly spider web. I don't even know what you call it. It's almost between like a film and a fabric. Then I went down with 2 sets of the black creepy cloth and 1 set of the gray creepy cloth, which is on top. Bringing back in the candles, there is something very spooky and gothic about candles, candelabra vibes. I'm just getting like old school Victorian vampire kind of film. I also replaced them, so I did 2 of the black candles and 1 of the white because I only got 2. And now I'm going in decorating kind of with the same sense that I did before. So we have the candles on the right and left of the table, creating those great bookends and height. And then I'm going to be going in the middle, the right side, and the left side with some taller items. And again, sprinkling all those smaller items all throughout the middle. I thought the skull and the potion bottles to the left and right of the skull were too much of the same height, so to kind of break that up and make it a little bit more interesting to look at, I am taking this party bowl that I have painted in a metallic silver color and placing the potion bottle on top of that. Love this light up pumpkin from the Dollar Tree. I posted on Instagram about it when I found it. I think it's so cool. So I placed that at one end and then this sparkly jack-o'-lantern pumpkin at the other. This skull used to be a soap container from the Dollar Tree, and once it had run out, I took the soap container off of it and stuck in some of these cool black sparkly floral picks. I grabbed a white candle holder and placed some of the black creepy cloth over that so you couldn't really see the stark whiteness, and placed on top a skeleton cloche I made last year. And then I took my black faux drippy candle that looks like there is a wax coming down it and placed that in between, but I didn't like how there was kind of this large space, almost like a hole in between our skull and the skeleton cloche, so I decided to close that up using another potion bottle. I didn't want the orange potion bottle next to the orange pumpkin, so I swapped out the orange and green bottles. Then I put in a couple of the cauldrons that I had made from last year, and the final step was going in with these spider webs. You will see my puppy grabbed that chunk of spider web, and I completely did not notice till I was done, and it almost turned into like a cotton candy floss. He had messed with it so much. So while he was hanging out with his spider web very happily, I was adding spiders to these webs, of course, from the Dollar Tree, and again, using these really cool potion bottles from the Dollar Tree, just putting those all around, especially near the other bottles. And I had a couple of them flipped over, so it's almost like they got knocked down, because I wanted this kind of unlike most other maybe mantle displays. I think the more cluttered almost the better when it comes to Halloween, because I am just thinking of like a mad scientist apothecary where everything is falling over and cluttered and dusty. So it's really fun to decorate for Halloween because I don't have to be sparing and make sure I'm not, cluttering or hoarding things. I think the more the better when it comes to Halloween. So I had a lot of fun in putting this together. Similar to the mantle, I always think it's better when you add in some lights, so I did add in some fairy lights. And I also got these witches hats. I got them 6 for $1 at the dollar spot section of Target, which I thought was an absolutely amazing deal. And it even came with the fishing line that you use to hang the hats. So I didn't get it in a ton of the videos and pictures, but I did have the witches hats hanging. And now we are moving on to our tablescape. So I am taking this spider web from the Dollar Tree, and that is going to be the charger for our plate. Then we're going to move on to our napkin. I found this awesome fabric from the Dollar Tree. You could definitely cut this into, probably you could get 3 napkins out of it. For the sake of this video though, I just took the roll. And now in the Crafters Square section, they're also selling these wood rings. When I saw them, I immediately thought of a napkin holder. I like it as is, but to add a little bit more of that Halloween flair, I grabbed the bat clothespins from the Dollar Tree and I left the clothespin on. I just painted the bat black, and then really easily I was able to clip the bat over the napkin ring. You could always take the clothespin part off and hot glue it, but this is really nice because it's very interchangeable. I think for Christmas I'll be adding on some Christmas trees or maybe a snowman onto our ring. The last little touch that I have here for our simple tablescape is adding one of these zombie or mummy looking hands over the silverware. I thought that was funny because you use silverware with your hands, and we have a little creepy hand who just wants to be invited to the dinner party apparently. If any of you watching have Halloween themed dinner parties or just parties in general, you'll have to let me know in the comments down below. What are your go-tos for decorating? Do you do a dinner party with a fun tablescape, or do you just decorate your house and your mantle? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep searching, keep creating.